Yeah, Mafia Material Mobcast episode 70. It's your boy Daylight, man. Daylight TV. Be back. Hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that notification bell. That you know anytime, we mobbing at you with some more content. Our next story we gotta talk about. Well, not really a story. Really, I don't know who needs to hear this, but I want to talk about the 20K lock-in, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How to hustle harder. Well, hustle smarter and not harder. You know? We in front of NASDAQ, so you know we got some talk about the money. Talk about the money, nigga. So for the last year or so, or longer than that, you know what I'm saying? I really just been focused, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been, enjoying myself, doing my, my 1-2 and all that shit. But a lot of that extra, hanging out and, running around, like being in the mix and trying to, keep up with the Joneses and all of that shit. This shit been over with, man. Like, I said, niggas still get fresh, niggas still, do the things I like to do. For the most part, I just been really focused on my financial, literacy shit. And so I want to, break some things down for y'all. You know what I mean? I want to talk some shit. You know what I mean? Listen and listen good. Most of us, have found ourselves when it comes down to finances, playing the game, that we feel like, or had a moment where we felt like we already lost. You know what I'm saying? Because, a lot of people don't understand the math. Math of the, especially in the trap, in the streets. And that's who I'm really speaking to. This applies to everybody, but this is for my hustlers, right? A lot of times people think wealth is some, suit and tie secret. But nah, my nigga. It's really just simple arithmetic. The distance between being a broke boy forever and having real leverage is actually smaller than most people think. It's actually exactly 20 bands, nigga. Yeah, that's the line. That's the threshold. Almost, nobody, will ever cross. Not because they can't make it, but because they can't keep it. We always talk about obtaining is easy. Maintenance is the motherfucker. And, and I don't want to hear about, the struggle. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've seen some streets. I've seen the losses. I've experienced them. I've been the nigga on the California King. And I've been the nigga that had to sleep on the train for a couple nights and try to figure that shit out. Sleep on somebody's floor, you know what I'm saying? Type shit. And one thing I realized in all of that, sympathy don't pay the bills. if you think the deck is stacked against you, fine. It is. Now what? Are you gonna soldier through or are you gonna fold? You know, building wealth from nothing is brutal, brutally, painfully slow at first. You save a few stacks, it sit there, you see the next man, buying a chain, taking a trip, posting, living his best life and shit on the gram. And you feel like a fool because your pile is growing at a pace that feels insulting. Like it ain't going fast enough. You're caught up in the linear track. At least that's how you feel, right? And this is where the weak-minded quit. You sacrifice for a whole year. You skip the club. You keep the same beat-up car. You look at your account and only see $5,000. You do the math wrong. You think, man, if it took a year to get 5K, it's gonna take 20 years to get 100K. Forget this, that linear thinking shit. That's how they keep niggas in dirt, in the mud, nigga. Feeling like I still gotta get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like you damn near about to have your feet on the curb, nigga. You standing at the base of, an exponential curve for real. It looks flat, but it's just waiting, nigga. Waiting for the shift. Everything changes at 20K and shit, you know what I mean? Like I was reading this while I was watching this interview, I think it was a panel with like Warren Buffett and all of that shit, you know what I mean? And they was even talking about like, not because it's a magic number, but because your whole identity kind of shifts. Like psychologically, you aren't just a hustler anymore. You kind of like an owner and shit. You stop, being one car repair away from disaster. You know what I'm saying? Like you can afford the actual emergency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to sleep better at night. Mathematically, the 20K start working, it generates a return while you asleep. It ain't no life-changing money yet, you know what I'm saying? But the shit is real. Like 20K in the S&P 500, let's just say at for good math at 10%, 2,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? And like, you got to think about the compound interest. Like if y'all like study Warren Buffett, y'all know about compound interest. Once you hit 50K, your money is contributing as much to the pot as your daily grind is, nigga. At 100K, your money start working harder than you ever could, nigga. You ain't even got enough hours in the day. All you gotta do, is just watch out for the 3 deadly sins of the hustle, man. If you want to stay poor, keep doing these 3 things. For one, that envy and that jealousy shit, you need to get that shit up out your heart, because that shit right there is gonna stop you. Like the world is, driven damn near by envy and shit. You see somebody else getting richer faster, and your ass might take a dumbass risk, you try to catch up, and you don't even need to catch up. Like you might actually go out here like you straight. You know what I'm saying? Like You ain't balling, but you comfortable as hell. You really don't want for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like your bills is paid, all that shit, right? But you're looking around feeling like you gotta keep up. And so you might feel like, man, I could go out here and, make a couple dollars and everything like that, make a few plays, and then boom, just like that. The little money you do got now, you gotta spend that shit on lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Or, you spend money you don't have to impress people who don't care. Like I told y'all, you know what I'm saying? That Will Rogers quote. Spending money you don't have on shit that you don't need or don't want to impress people that you don't even like. Cause you looking at everybody like that, like, nigga, your neighbor, somebody like your partner, he might have the brand new car, the new foreign and shit. Nigga paying like 15 to damn near 18% interest. You know what I'm saying? You might be one payment away from getting that shit repoed. Another thing is that self-pity, man. Drifting into the why me? That shit is a disease. Like, because self-pity really make you, passive, pussy. When you need to be, stomped down trying to acquire all the information that you can. You know? Smart men, they go broke 3 ways. Liquor, ladies, and leverage. For example, just talking about Chef G. 100 bands on the bitch, loyalty bonus, and all of that shit. Got motherfuckers out here borrowing money to look rich before they are rich. Like, you spending more money to look rich than you actually spend trying to get rich. And the thing is, like, man, getting the bag, becoming wealthy, that shit only need to happen one time. Why risk starting over 4 times, nigga? Consider yourself mandated to be a learning machine. You want to get out, you got to deserve to get out. Become a learning machine, man. Go to bed every night a little wiser than you were when you woke up. That's why, like, one of my pet peeves, especially in the information era, is misinformation. If you're a content creator or a musician, rapper, singer, whatever, and you want reading everything that you could possibly read about, ways to make money in music, like, it's always some new technology or some new, like, loophole or some shit like that. So if you're not reading this shit, if you aren't growing and shit, you know what I mean, like, or you're not, like, tapping in with different shit to maximize your earning potential and your value, you ain't growing, nigga. Your salary today is your salary forever if you stop learning. Like, just think about it like that. Whatever it is right now that you have, that you got coming in, that's it. If you want to be mentally stagnant. You know what I'm saying? You got to master your circle of competence, man. Don't play games where other people have the edge. Find your lane and dominate that shit. Because the end goal is freedom. Like when I got focused or whatever, because I mean, I had a situation where I'd experienced all the, material shit, you know what I mean, all that shit. When I came home, bro, from prison, I didn't want money for, you know, jewelry. I mean, like, yeah, I knew I wanted to get back to that. You understand what I'm saying? But I didn't want that shit for like jewelry and all of that, like extra shit. I wanted the shit for independence, bro. Independence means not needing to send the invoice to anyone. It means saying no to a bad deal because you aren't desperate. Being broke means taking whatever conditions they give you. You know what I'm saying? You aren't living your life. You're living whatever life your bank account allows you to. You know? You gotta, like, at that point, you'll never get to that final push, man. And I'm not saying like it's easy, bro. The first 20K is hell. It's the flat part of the curve. But once you cross it, the scarcity lifts. And I've crossed that 20K threshold. The thing that's crazy is, and I always say this shit, is that I didn't know the shit that I know now. I was thinking, like, so the reason I'm saying this is because I was that guy. You know? I was that guy, and it was fucked up because, like, I definitely crossed 20K, like, thresholds. I mean, multiple times. It's almost embarrassing and shit, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, you live and you learn this shit because you also understand that the average billionaire has been bankrupt or flat ass broken shit at least 3.5 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, a whole 8 of brokenness before they, finally figured that shit out. And each time they got the money back, they figured out how to hold on to the shit longer. You know. Yeah, man, game is, the whole thing is, you gotta stop being idiotic about the shit. You know. Don't spend more than what you earn. Spend less than what you earn. Invest. Avoid toxic ass people too. Cause that shit'll fuck your whole, game up. You know, for real. That shit's an essential ingredient for disaster. Every year that you delay is a year of growth that you'll never get back. That's why I'm real big on starting now. I got an idea, I want to do something, push the button on that shit. If it don't work, cool. At least I know it don't work. I won't waste time wondering what if. You understand? Like, yeah, I tried that. Either now ain't the time for it. I might need to get, some more information, learn a little more, you know. And yeah, but yeah, my advice to anybody who's on the fence about starting something or, you know what I mean, like got some goals, especially like financial and shit, start now, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head down and your dollars up, man. Get your 20 and lock in. You know what I mean? And I hope everybody get their 20, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Then sure, y'all gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, and but yeah, let me know. Just a little game I wanted to give to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, little hack, man. I don't know who need to hear this, but this is the 20K lock-in. Hustle smarter, not harder. The Mafia Material Mobcast, episode number 70.